One of the hardest things to get your head around in Korean is the wide variety of different titles you can use to refer to someone. So if you watched my previous video, you'll know that Koreans don't really use the word you like we do in English. Instead, they use a wide range of different titles to refer to people of differing social status and differing ages. So in this video, I'm going to try and use some scenes from Squid Game to help you understand in which situations you can use which different titles. We're going to start with the titles used for people who are older than you and slowly move down to more familiar titles and titles for people who are same age or younger than you.
영감님.
So the first one you hear a lot in Squid Game is the title Sajangnim, and this is used only to refer to the old man in the series. Sajangnim can be used to refer to people who are maybe 70 or 80 years old, and you would only really use this with someone who you have a personal relationship with. So you can't just use it with strangers on the street. But maybe if you make some friends, or if you become sort of close with someone who's 70 or 80 years old, you can use the phrase 영감님 to refer to him. And this is used only for men, by the way, so you can't use it with old ladies, but if you end up making a Korean old man friend, you can refer to him as 영감님. You could use this word with maybe an elderly neighbor who you see regularly. 안녕하세요, 영감님. 잘 지내셨어요? 진지 드셨어요?
나 사장님 이름 알아요. 쌍문동.
The next one I want to explain is Sajangnim. Sajangnim literally means the owner of a company or the owner of a shop. So one of the most common ways that you can hear this is in a restaurant. So if you want to get the attention of one of the workers there, you can call Sajangnim and ask for more water or ask for some lettuce or something. 사장님, 상추 좀 더 주시겠어요? You can also use it more generally to refer to strangers if you don't know what other title to use. And it's a way of being respectful to someone who is of probably equal or higher status than you, usually a little bit older, and where you don't know what else to call them.
선생님, 저랑 게임 한번 하시겠습니까? 선생님, 딱지치기 해보셨죠?
Similarly, you can also use the word Sunsetnim to refer to strangers if they're of similar or higher status to you and similar or higher age to you. And it's a way of being very respectful by using the word teacher to refer to them. So if you see a stranger and you don't really know what other title to use, you can refer to them as Sunsetnim. By saying this, you're sort of saying that they have something to teach you, that you can learn from them, and that you respect their opinion. The title Sunsetnim can also be used to refer to your colleagues in the same workplace if you don't really know each other too well, or it can also be used to refer to your fellow classmates in university. But if you're talking to someone older than you and you really don't know which title to use, Sunsetnim is the safest one if you want to risk offending anybody.
아저씨 사정도 지금 딱해 보이긴 하는데 내가 지금
아저씨, 우리 누나 알아요?
Ajoshi can be used with maybe middle-aged men, maybe around 40 or 50 years old, who are married, and men who have a sort of an uncle vibe around them. It's very hard to explain who should be called Ajoshi, but you can kind of get a sense of it when you see them. But if you're unsure, maybe don't use that and use one of the other forms that I've explained. A good time to use the word Ajoshi could be with some older taxi drivers or with any other of these middle-aged men that you might meet. 아저씨, 여기 내려주세요.
아줌마 뭐 잘하는데?
The female version of Ajoshi is Ajumma, but I wouldn't really recommend using this with anyone because it can be a bit offensive. It originally just meant a married woman, but nowadays people can get a bit offended if you use it with them. 아줌마, 이건 얼마예요? Rather than calling someone Ajumma, it's a lot more respectful to call someone Ajummani. And you can use this with strangers or a woman you see in a restaurant or a shop regularly. 아주머니, 이건 얼마예요? Just make sure that they're of the right age where they can be called Ajummani. So again, if you're not sure about that, you can stick to Sajangnim or Sunsetnim. But if they're of the right age, then using the word Ajummani is very respectful.
언니 오빠들. 오빠, 왜 그래?
형은 왜 왔습니까?
Next, for people who you're slightly more familiar with and who are slightly older than you can use the familial words which mean older brother or older sister. For men, older brother is hyung and older sister is nuna. And for women, older brother is oppa and older sister is onni. And you can use these either by themselves, or you can also use them with the person's name attached to it. And this is again a way of referring someone who is older than you, but who you're still quite intimate with and you're quite close with. Sometimes the other person will actually tell you to call them that. They'll, judge that your relationship is close enough that you can call them with those terms. Or if you think that your relationship is close enough, you can ask them if it's okay for you to call them 형님 or 누나 or anything like that. If you watch Squid Game with English subtitles, you might have noticed that the word oppa is translated as old man, and this is not a very accurate translation. Really, oppa just means an older brother, literally, but it also has a connotation of a kind of an attractive young man. For example, with K-pop stars, sometimes their fans will call them oppa even if they're actually younger than them. And in general, if a girl calls someone oppa, they might get the idea that they're somewhat romantically interested in them. You'll notice that until now, we haven't used anyone's name, and in Korea it's very, very uncommon to refer to someone by their name if they're older than you. With these familial terms you can, but again, you can't just say it by itself. You have to say their name followed by hyung. And the only time you would really use someone's name is if they're younger than you, and obviously younger than you. In that case, it's okay to simply call them by their name. Anyway, that's all for today's video. Let me know in the comments if there are any other videos that you want to see, whether it's about Korean or about language learning or anything else. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.